one.
It is 6:30 p.m. and I call this meeting to order. Please stand and we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Winona City Council, and since we are no longer operating under state emergency procedures, votes will be conducted on a voice call rather than roll call unless requested by a member. Tonight, Councilmember Borzakowski had a few words real quick.
Thank you, Mayor. This past week, as many of us know, there were two water main breaks, one along Highway 43 and one along to the entrance of Valley Oaks. I just simply want to thank the residents for their patience and understanding with this. I would like to thank the City of Winona Water Department, as we don't thank them too often, but many of those people, I believe, went 24 hours, some went 30 hours, the contractors, the trucking companies, and all those involved, because it was less than 48 hours and water was restored to all along Highway 43 and all the valleys out there. So a big thank you to all those people and Public Works for all their time and the work of getting this done. Thank you.
Thank you. This past week, I was lucky enough to be able to host my very first mayor's ride in conjunction with Project Find Welcoming Week. We had about 60 riders and it was really fun. So put it on your calendar for next year. I'd love to see every single council member out there next year. Tonight, we also have a guest from Minnesota Recreation and Parks Association. I'd like to introduce Michelle Snyder. Michelle is the Executive Director of the Minnesota Recreation and Parks Association. Michelle is here tonight to present an award to the Park and Rec Department. I would also like to invite anyone in attendance from the Recreation Alliance of Winona to come forward as well.
Mayor Sherman and council members, thank you for inviting me here today to present the Minnesota Recreation and Park Association Award of Excellence to you and your Winona Park and Recreation staff. A brief history about us. Minnesota Recreation and Park Association, or MRPA, was formed in 1937, so we have a long history. We are a nonprofit, membership-based organization representing the parks and recreation profession here in Minnesota. Currently, we have nearly 900 members across the state, and they represent municipal, county, state, special park district, and commercial agencies. The reason I'm here tonight is the MRP Awards Committee represents a cross-section of our association, and they administer our MRPA Awards of Excellence program, which is an annual program created to recognize agencies and their staff for outstanding projects here across Minnesota, including your Levy Park boulders. Members may nominate their project in one of 6 categories: administrative or management strategies, communications and marketing, park and facilities, and that is the category in which your project was nominated, programming and events, sponsorships and partnerships, and volunteer initiatives. So we know that Parks and Recreation encompasses a large variety, a breadth and depth of what we do in our communities. This is a competitive process. So nominations are reviewed, evaluated, and scored by our awards committee, and only those top scoring nominations receive our Award of Excellence designation. Our committee was impressed by your project, the Levy Park Boulders, providing a unique public park outdoor recreational opportunity for both residents and visitors, and that these boulders may be used for both those with advanced technical skills as well as those who are learning, or a play feature within your community. So on behalf of Minnesota Recreation and Park Association, our board of directors, and our nearly 900 members across the state of Minnesota, it is my honor to present to you the Award of Excellence to the City of Winona and your Park and Recreation Department for the Levy Park Boulders project. Congratulations.
Thank you, Michelle.
I have a plaque here for your Parks and Recreation staff and city staff, and I want to make that formal presentation.
Right around here.
Okay.
Brad will take our picture.
Okay.
Have our backs this way. Take your mask off.
I cannot. No. Picture of his thumb. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now City Manager Steve Sarvey.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to echo the comments made about the water main break and really thank the residents for their patience. One thing that maybe council didn't know is we were very short-staffed as well because several of our water operators were up at St. Cloud going to school. So on top of everything else, it was sort of a perfectly bad storm of events for us. Also want to remind the community that tomorrow Hop Street will be down to one lane of traffic between Mark and Bellevue starting at 9 a.m. And there'll be a section of Riverview Drive will be closed from the Marine Art Museum, I believe, going west. And that's they're doing some slip lining of the storm pipes that go through that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Tonight we'll have 3 public hearings. Oh, I'm sorry. I will now ask the city clerk to take roll call.
Mayor Sherman,
Here.
Councilmember Young,
Here.
Moeller,
Here.
Alexander, here, Iden, here, Worzikowski,
Here.
Rapinski.
Here. Tonight we'll have 3 public hearings, and for each public hearing, staff will make a short presentation. And then I will ask if anyone from the public wishes to speak to the matter. You must clearly state your name and address, and you will be given up to 3 minutes to make your testimony. I will call 3 times for public comments. Once the hearing is closed, the public may not participate in any discussion by city council.
Under the required public hearings, item 2.1 is the consent and approval for refunding the revenue note for Winona Health.
And tonight we have Lucy McMartin from Community Development.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. This is a refinancing of past conduit debt that the city had with Winona Health. Over the years, they have used the city's tax exempt status to get a better interest rate on their bonds. And if you're a healthcare facility, that is available to you at the city level. Jessica Remington is here from Winona Health if you have any questions. But they're refinancing bonds and they're doing that in Winona and in Rushford. If you have any further questions, Jessica is here.
Steve, go ahead.
Lucy, I've got a question for you. This presents no risk to us. They're essentially using our portal, our entry, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's why it's called
Okay.
conduit debt. So
Thank
we're
you.
not financially responsible for payment.
Just got to make sure. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll now open the public hearing. Does anybody from the public wish to speak? Oh, please, come on up. Name and address, please.
Good morning. My name is Charles Sackett. Address is 869 Gilmore Avenue. I was just trying to get to the root of my water bill is somehow excessively steep.
We'll have you sit for a little bit. That'll be our third public hearing here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
We'll get you in just a second. Thank you. Does anybody else from the public wish to speak regarding the consent and approval for refunding revenue note for Winona Health? Third time, does anybody wish to speak regarding the refunding revenue note from Winona Health? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing.
I'd make a motion to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 2.2
Go ahead, sorry.
is the May rezoning R2 and B2 to B3 at 1255, 1258, and 1265 Sugarloaf Road.
And tonight again, we'll have Lucy McMartin from Community Development.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. This is to take 3 parcels and straighten them out so that they are the proper zoning for the business. It was unanimously approved by the Planning Commission and they're recommending approval. Mr. May is here if you have any questions for him, and these are the parcels at Highway 43 where their business is located.
Thank you, Lucy. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a quick question, Lucy. I'm not opposed to this reading through it, but is there any reason that we're doing this now and not waiting for our next comp plan that's coming sooner rather than later, right?
Yes, the comp plan will take probably 18 months, so we still are accepting requests for rezoning.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Does anybody from the public wish to speak regarding the May rezoning R2 and B2 to B3 at 1255, 1258, and 1265 Sugarloaf Road? Again, does anyone from the public wish to speak on this matter? Does anyone from the public wish to speak regarding the May rezoning at 1255, 1258, and 1265 Sugarloaf Road? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing.
I'd make a motion to introduce the attached ordinance for adoption and adopt the findings in the staff report and
Second.
accept the attachments.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from George. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those, oh, George, go ahead.
See, Ron is here. I have to say that your property is very well kept up and very well maintained. It looks good. So
We've worked hard at it over the years.
yes, you have. So, and it shows. So very well kept.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Ron. Anyone else? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 2.3 is the public hearing to consider the resolution to levy assessments for unpaid charges.
Tonight we have Jessica Wojan, Finance Director.
So I passed out the updated lists as of including payments. I passed out the updated list, which includes payments through 2/30 today. Of course, any payments that we received after that would be removed from the list as well and not assessed. But the new amounts include properties, 334 properties, totaling to $143,030, which is significantly lower than last year's assessments.
Thank you, Jessica. Does anyone from council have any questions? We'll now open the public hearing to the public. Name and address again, please.
Charles Sackett, 869 Gilmore Avenue. So I was just going through my books. I'm pretty meticulous about paying bills on time, so I'm confused as to how the sewer bills, because I don't have city water, I have a well, but I do have city septic, and I'm just confused as to how the bills racked up to $308 when my bill is $71.60 per month or per quarter.
I'm sorry, can you tell me your address again?
869 Gilmore Avenue.
Because on here, it looks like it's 147 or with us with the penalty 197. Or maybe I'm on the wrong. 169.48. So I don't see the 300.
That other person showed me a slip said 308 and some change. I don't know if that was something.
Charlie, you said you have a well.
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
but you're connected to city sewer.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm one of, I think, when I talked to the city prior, I'm one of like 4 houses on the entire stretch of road that has well. Sorry.
I have it's $147.37.
Okay.
So we must have
And
looked at the,
There is also an assessment for mowing and brush for $160 on this property.
Oh,
And when would that have happened? Because nobody ever came through and mowed it or removed brush from my property.
So the invoice date on that was August 3rd of 2020.
And I didn't move until September 1st.
right, so that assessment went on the property prior to you purchasing it.
Okay.
It's from the previous owner, and unfortunately, you would have to seek recourse through another method.
Okay. Well, thank
Any
you.
other questions, Charles?
Sir.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else from the public wish to speak regarding the resolution to levy assessments for unpaid charges? And third call. Would anybody from the public wish to speak to consider the resolution to levy assessments for unpaid charges? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing.
I'd make a motion to adopt the resolution. Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? George?
Yeah, I can see by looking at the numbers here that I remember when this number would be around $240,000 or $50,000. So it's slowly coming down, so.
Thank you, George. Any other comments or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Under the petitions, requests, and communications, item 3.1 is the reappointment to the Housing and Redevelopment Authority of Robert Palmer.
I would move to approve that appointment.
Second.
We have a motion by George, a second from Michelle. Any discussion? Go ahead, George.
I have to say, he's a very, very good commissioner and he's a pleasure to work with. So,
Absolutely. I got the chance to meet him.
sure.
Yep.
Does a good job for us.
Any other comments or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 3.2 are sign requests for St. Stan's and the Winona Art Walk.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion by Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 3.3 is the request for premises permit for lawful gambling for the Warrior Club.
Move approval of that request. Second.
Motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes.
Item 3.4 is the Winona Senior High Homecoming Parade for October 1st.
Move approval of that request. Second.
We have a motion by Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That was me. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. It scared me.
The
I
mask is
apologize.
messing with me.
Item 3.5 is a request for handicap parking in municipal lots 7 and 9.
I'd make a motion to introduce the attached ordinance. Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion?
Mayor, is there any handicap parking there currently?
Ryan,
So are
engineering is here.
we looking for additional spots besides what's there?
So there's one in lot 7 currently. It's actually not in code even, but there's one sign there. So we would be adding, I guess, 4 on top of that one.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ryan. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 3.6 is a request for handicap parking on 3rd and on 4th by the LEC.
Make a motion to introduce the attached ordinance. Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any questions or discussion?
Go ahead, Your Honor and counsel. This is because of the construction of the jail So that area is going to get congested pretty quickly with construction employees and lay down yard and all that sort of thing. So we're working to find alternate sites for our PD as well as the sheriff to be able to locate themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Sarvey.
It'll be a mess.
Thanks for the warning. Did we have a motion? Yes. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Under new business, item 5.1 is the 2022 City Health Insurance Recommendations for Health Plan Designs.
I make a motion to approve the City Health Insurance Committee's recommendation for 2022 as outlined by Joe in the pre-council.
Second. Ooh,
We're all
everybody.
very.
We have a
popular.
motion from Michelle.
Very
Pam was loud, so we'll take the second from Pam. Any discussion or questions? I believe Joe's still on the line. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I do. Our review that we got from Joe was excellent. You know, if you'll forgive the pun, but our checkup on our health insurance turned out real well. Our claims are low, our losses have been low. This change from, I definitely endorse the change going from 115,000 to 125,000 on the stop loss. So that means, just so we're clear, that's the amount that the city would pay. Above that is what the insurance would pay. Quite a savings on that. Highly unlikely. Thank you for nodding, Joe. That's awesome. Quite unlikely that, I mean, it could happen, but quite unlikely that that we would run through that 125,000 stop loss more than 11 times when we've only hit 10 times in the past however many years. One element that I would add that I think is coming in this next decade is that the cancer screenings, the heart disease screenings that have not been done in the past 2 years because of COVID is likely going to produce a wave. And we have no idea how. Is it going to be a tsunami? I sure hope not. But will it be a wave? Almost for sure. Joe, would you not agree with that? You're nodding. So, okay. So just be aware. So I'm glad we're going to keep our premiums the same. Wonderful news for our employees. I endorse the changing our stop loss from 115 to 125. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Steve. Any other comments or discussion?
Just one last thank you, Joe. Thanks for all your work, for you and your team, but you especially.
Fair, but yes. Great. All right. Thank you, Joe. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.2 is the 2022 ancillary benefits.
Make a motion to approve the city's life insurance, long-term disability, short-term disability, and flexible spending and health reimbursement account.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second, a happy second from Eileen.
Made the second.
Any comments or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.3 is the 2022 dental insurance coverage and rates.
Make a motion to approve the city's dental insurance.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.4 is the Fine Arts Commission granting program.
I'd make a motion to approve the attached grant guidelines and direct staff to implement the program.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Eileen.
I just think this is a really excellent program. This is something that a lot of cities offer for artists and for the working creatives in their community. So I'm glad that we can offer it as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Eileen. Any other discussion, Pam?
Yeah, just a comment on top of that, that I look forward to seeing all the new art and seeing the performances and seeing what's going to come about from these very modestly priced grants. It means a lot, true.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pam. Any other discussion or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.5 is the resolution ordering assessment of costs for the 2021 sidewalk replacement project.
I make a motion to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.6 is the report on assessment roll for the 21 sidewalk project and scheduling the hearing for October 18th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.7 is the resolution ordering assessment of costs for the 21 miscellaneous utilities project.
Make a motion to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.8 is the report on assessment roll for the 2021 miscellaneous utilities and setting the public hearing for October 18th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.9 is the transit grant application for bus replacements.
Make a motion to adopt the attached resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Michelle?
this is not entirely unrelated, but it isn't specifically this topic, but I just want to say how nice those glass bus shelters look.
Mhm.
They're wonderful to see up all over town and people make good use of them. I think it's nice that they have a place to sit that's out of inclement weather, at least while they wait patiently for the bus to come. So
Absolutely.
nice job.
Thank you, Michelle. Go ahead, Steve.
Mr. Mayor, if I could ask, it's looking like state and federal granting 90%, so we're on for 10%. What is 10%? How much is that?
Now I have to do math in my head. So 3 of the buses are class 500s. Those are probably 130,000 each.
Okay,
And the class 400 is around 100,000. So,
It's about 49,000.
and the city share will come from our transit reserves.
Jessica already knows my next question. What's amount in the reserve, in that transit reserve?
Hundreds of thousands of
Okay,
dollars.
just need to make sure. Got it. I'm always gonna ask the numbers.
We'll wait for Jessica.
We have 1.1 million.
No, I think we got enough. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, Jessica. Monica, one quick question. There was some concrete pads that still needed to be done around those. Are those completed now?
No, they're still scheduling one more shelter to go in.
Okay,
So when that last cement pad goes in, they will go and finish the other remaining little pieces they need to do.
okay. Very good. Thank you, Monica. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.10 is the transit grant application for the bus garage insulation project.
Make a motion to adopt the attached resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.11 is the 2022 budget and tax levy.
I'm going to motion these separately. I'd make a motion to adopt the resolution for the proposed tax levy collectible in 2022 of 5.2%.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from George. Any discussion regarding that motion?
Can the motion please be reread?
It's just to accept the tax levy of 5.2% as indicated by the budget.
Any more discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Then I'd make a motion to adopt the proposed budget less the 590 coming from cash reserves.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Steve. Any discussion, questions? Go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, I have a question. Why are we doing this?
My reasoning is because our financial policy, which we readopted in 2019, states specifically, we are not to use cash reserves for operating costs. And that's what that 590 would be. It also would set us up to start next year at a 6% tax increase. And I'd rather start at 0 as we're going into discussions with the unions and employees for raises. I also think it sets a bad precedent since we've all adopted that financial policy. I don't think we should use cash reserves that we got from the state that are meant to be there for operations. That's all.
Thank you. I do agree with following the policies that we set.
That's the only
Mr.
reason.
Mayor, if I could,
Go
thank
ahead,
you.
Steve. Eileen, I'll get you in a second.
Yeah. The challenge is that this would be our third year, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct in this, that it would be our third year where we're spending reserve dollars to supplement our ongoing operations. It's like a Winona household, like a Winona family that has carefully saved up $5,000 in their savings account, and then but they're not quite their expenses rise, so they're spending. They take $300 out of that savings account and spend it. They take another $490 the next year, and then they take another $590 the following year to supplement that family's annual budget. That's what we're doing. Just add 3 zeros onto it. Okay, so we're draining the savings account to spend each year, and this is our third year of doing it. My view is that's not sustainable. We shouldn't be using reserve dollars to spend on daily operations, and I want to stop that. And so that's why I think it's important that we do that. It's our financial protocols state that we should not be doing that, and I feel we need to end that practice now.
Thank you, Steve. Eileen?
I just have a question for staff about that financial policy. I mean, is that exactly what it says? And I don't know that I'm as familiar as apparently the other council members are, and I would just love some clarification on it and if we are in fact violating it.
Eileen, I'm guessing your question is based on the fact that we've done this in the past few years.
That's correct. And also that we are
Also looking at a new financial policy? potentially?
Yes, and that the council makes the policy. So if we had, it's not law, it's a policy set by council for best practices, I'm assuming, which is not, thank you. Yes, I can read, thank you. So, but we have done this in the past, is that correct?
We have, and it again, it's something that we definitely want to not do.
Right. And we have been
So-
decreasing the amount we have.
Well, it's bounced around,
Okay,
and we want to, staff agrees, we want it to be 0. We brought you a budget that was turning things around in a slower state.
correct.
So this would accelerate that, and that's fine. That's what the council wants to do. And that's the direction we'll proceed in. As far as the policy goes, all of our policies will be reviewed this fall. We'll get those back to you.
Right,
And so, yes, they're not chiseled in the side of Sugarloaf, but they are things that we should really take to heart for any decision that's made. So like, we really want to take a really good look at what the future of the general fund reserve and those other 4 funds, and when we start to spread those out. But again, we've got plenty of time to do that over the fall, and we'll get that to council, and we'll proceed accordingly.
Thank you. One of the reasons, well, I also am wondering if that piece is cut as Councilmember Alexander motioned, then what of the budget goes away? What do we lose?
Well, we'll bring it back to council.
Okay.
Yep.
I completely understand the motion, and I actually do support it, but my concern is that when we, if I'm remembering correctly, when we set this proposed levy, we can lower it before we vote again, but we cannot raise it. And we've had a pretty lean budget because of everything that has happened in the past year, and we have a lot of departments who have had to work overtime and had additional expenses, many of which we will get reimbursed through various federal granting programs. But I'm hesitant to make that large of a cut right now when we still have the opportunity to make it before our final vote. So I will not be supporting the motion.
Mayor, if I could add, because they're reserve funds, and there are reserve funds, if we do run into some problem this fall, say the Delta variant or some other thing that happens, technically, yes, we can't raise the tax levy, but we could come to council with an alternative. So all's not lost. We'll work through that.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you, Eileen.
I just thought it's important that council understands, what needs to happen tonight mostly is setting that tax, because we got to set that number off to the county. They send that out to all the homeowners. That number can be decreased but not raised unless there's something really significant that happens.
Okay.
Because it requires legislation to raise it after it's been set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
George, you had a comment?
Yes, now these policies, financial policies, the other policies, those policies have been adopted and voted on by council to be policy, correct? So whether, we take it from here with this city council, those are, what word am I trying to find? Those are set in stone. I mean, it is law for us right here.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
But they can be changed by council.
They can be changed by council,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So then tonight, we would be directing you to look at trimming down the budget $500,000.
To that amount, correct.
That amount,
Yep.
right? Okay.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Steve. Pam, did you have a comment or a question?
I have my answer. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? Chad, please.
Mayor and council, sorry to interject. I think we better be clear on the motion of what the motion is. If it could be repeated, that'd be awesome.
Yes, I made a motion to remove the 590 from the reserve, the cash reserves. It wasn't 500,000, George, it's 590. That's
590.
coming out of cash reserves.
Okay, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed also for the reasons that my colleague mentioned.
Very good. Motion passes.
Item 5.12 is the 22 budget and levy. Announce the date for the public comment portion of the regular scheduled meeting for December 20th.
I'd make a motion to introduce the proposed meeting date.
Motion from Michelle, second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 5.13 is the proposed fee ordinance for 2022.
Make a motion to introduce the proposed fee ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle, a second from Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And item 5.14 14 is the 22 Comprehensive Plan Engage Winona contract.
I would make a motion to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the document.
Second.
We have a motion from Michelle and a second from Eileen. We do have Marcia Ratliff, our new executive director for Engage Winona here. She'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be brief. Just wanted to introduce myself as the new director of Engage Winona. So I'm not Brian Verding, but my name is Marcia Ratliff, and I've been a member of the Winona community for over 9 years. I've been involved with Engage Winona's work both as a participant in my younger days and then as a facilitator. So I bring my experience in communications, community development, and capacity building and programming for all ages. As many of you know, prior to this, I was at the public library in the youth department. So for the city of Winona's new comprehensive plan, Engage Winona will leverage our local knowledge. That's the biggest thing we have. We're here in Winona. Most of the time we don't go anywhere on the weekend. And we'll build on the success of past work that we've done for the city of Winona, including the sustainability plan engagement, the East End neighborhood project, the alternative response team, facilitation, and other work that we've done. Throughout the next year and a half, our engagement for the comprehensive plan is going to frame the foundation of the plan, and it'll serve as a complement to the work that HKGI is doing. On the front end, we'll be working with the community to identify issues, ideas, and visions that are important to us as Winonans. And then as the plan is developed, we'll be bringing it back to the community for ongoing feedback. With each phase of our engagement, we're working toward a plan that includes the views, visions, and ideas of a broad and representative cross-section of the Winona community. So we're working towards themes, policies, and projects that are meaningful and achievable. And we're producing results and findings that are co-owned and supported by participants and the community in a way that drives future engagement, ownership, and work. The ultimate goal of the process, as you know, is to create a plan that's supported by as many Winonans as possible. Sounds like a tall order, but it's supported because it captures the hopes, dreams, and visions of the community on a wide scale and in a holistic way. So I just wanted to give you a brief introduction to the project. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Marcia. Does anyone have any questions for her? Marcia, we lost a great employee at the city, but we're very excited to have you as new executive director of Engage Winona. So congratulations, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. I'm excited to work with you as well.
Thanks. Any discussion? Go ahead, George.
Yeah, just a question. Marcia, I know you'll do well. You've done well at everything, and you will certainly serve this position well. One thing I did not see in here, if I did, what is the cost of this contract?
Mayor and members of council, the cost of the contract, which is included in the 2021 and 2022 budget, is $48,000. That's over the 18 months. And again, it was budgeted as part of the comprehensive plan budget in 2021. And it's in the budget for this year.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
We'll start with Councilmember Borzakowski.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to begin by congratulating Senator Jeremy Miller on becoming the Senate Majority Leader. I think we're very grateful and I think proud to have him right here in our community, as well as having a very well capable representative in Gene Pulowski. And I certainly hope that we use them because these people are right here in town, and Jeremy will certainly do a good job with the Senate Majority Leader position. And also I'd like to congratulate my stepson, Scott Bannicky, who on September 11th, he received the highest award that the Mason organization can give. And plus he was the youngest one ever to win it, as the Hiram Award. It's for effort and things that they did throughout the Masonic Lodge to make a difference in the community through the Masons, and just overall good gestures, which they do, as they supported our new pavilion very, very well. So congratulations to him. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Councilmember Alexander. Nothing tonight? Okay. Councilmember Iden?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Mueller?
I wanted to thank the Winona Dakota Unity Alliance for inviting us to participate in the sort of scaled back homecoming they had. It was an honor to attend, and I look forward to working with the Alliance and finding ways that we can better serve the Indigenous community here in our town. I also wanted to thank everyone who came out Friday evening and Saturday morning to participate in the Fabric of Winona project. This is something that our creative laureate, Sarah Johnson, is working on in combination with Project Fine, as well as I think a couple other and obviously the city, since she's our creative laureate, to create a visual map of the different people in our community. And there's going to be lots of other opportunities to participate in these murals that'll be displayed around town. And it was such a great turnout and a really engaged, diverse group of people who are sharing stories. So keep an eye out for information about that project because it's really phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. Councilmember Young?
I want to highlight Shore Court through the Winona Senior Friendship Center. It's an opportunity to serve our friends who are 60 and better, as they put it. I thought that was great. October 16th and 17th to do yard cleanup, raking, weeding, window washing, trash removal. I'm connected to a nonprofit. We were kind of looking for a place to plug in, and a nonprofit I'm connected to is going to take part in some of this stuff. But there's plenty of kids that are looking that need volunteer hours, and so there's lots of different shores that you can get hooked up with to be able to serve your volunteer hours or just to pitch in and help. Winona Senior Friendship Center is your contact place there. So just want to share that.
Very good. Thank you, Steve. Councilmember Rapinski?
None at this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And moving on to the consent agenda, there are 5 items. Approval of the minutes from September 7th, the final adoption of an ordinance to vacate a portion of Franklin Street, an ordinance to designate handicap parking on Johnson, and another one on King Street, and an ordinance to place stop signs on King Street.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion from George, a second from Michelle. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
The time being 7:17 and there being no further business to come before this council this evening, I move to adjourn.
I will second that.
Motion by Michelle, second from George. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.